is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Freedom Strategies podcast. Today, myself and my co-host Kent Clothier here are going to talk about very important...
To Clothier or Clothier?
Clothier.
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 Shout out to Dan Fleischman.
Shout out to Dan Fleischman and everyone else who says Kent's name wrong. So today we are going to talk about industries that are going to thrive in a pandemic, in a situation of possibly a recession, whatever the case may be. We're obviously in some weird times now, and a lot of unfortunate things have happened with people's jobs and stuff like that. But in all that darkness, there is a light. I think that we are moving into a place of a lot of entrepreneurship. A lot of new opportunities will rise from that, and we wanted to talk a little bit about what we think is going to crush in the next decade, whether there's an economic crisis or there's not. These things are just going to crush, period, in our opinion. Do you want to start with one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously going to default to real estate, right? So I think that anything goes without saying. If it's commercial real estate on the retail level or on office space, that's for a bumpy ride, right? But if you are dealing in any type of warehouse space, right, as more and more businesses are going into more online purchasing, distribution, right? So warehouse space is going to continue to thrive. If you are looking to acquire retail space, you are some new business that's kind of starting, then now would be an amazing time you can get it at nothing, right? Yeah. But clearly, another one would be mini storage. I mean, think about all the businesses, all the people that are downsizing their lives right now, right? And they're having to push their shit somewhere, right? So mini storages are going to be businesses, I mean, I can tell you, I'm actively looking at that are going to absolutely crush. I just talked about on some previous podcasts in the real estate space, anybody that's getting into trying to figure out how to do seller financing for people, those businesses that are competing now against, or that are filling the vacuum that the banks are going to leave, those businesses are going to crush. Any kind of that funding arms that are not necessarily bank related, that are helping businesses not only to stay in business, but to continue to grow, or helping consumers get into homes where the banks won't come in, those businesses are going to crush right now. Those are things I can think of in the real estate side. What other businesses?
I will default to e-commerce. I think that e-commerce is going to, and has, just in the past few months, exploded into what I think it's going to be. Shops are closing, all these places are closing, and e-commerce stores are just popping up left and right, and filling that void of retail. Like most people, they used to get bored, they would go to retail. Now they get bored, they go to retail on their phone. Boom, boom, boom. Easy shopping, fun experience. You want products, you can get it sent to you with Amazon within the day even. Shopify and Walmart are creating a similar partnership, so when you sell certain things with that, boom, you'll be able to get it very quickly as well. I think it is going to be a massively thriving
something on that I was thinking about that I think is really, really interesting is that people that, or companies that have the means to go and pick up the online rights to some of these retailers that are just getting run out.
I just did it with Pier 1.
Yeah, big brands. Yeah. So Pier 1, perfect example. They're all going down, right? Mm-hmm. But if I own the ability to sell their products and services and own the rights to their brands online, right, you are going to crush it because all that brand recognition still exists. Oh, 100%. Right? But suddenly now you're taking it into the e-com world.
They went bankrupt because they didn't know how to do e-commerce and they did retail. And that's just dying. It's going to go away. It is not going to become it's not going to come back. I think e-commerce is just going to double, and you can see that with Pier 1, like our friend just picked it up, and they're going full online, right?
Right.
There's a lot of other companies that
think of all the companies that are going out. I mean, it's actually too many to even name. All the different brands.
Well, let's talk about food, because you might own a restaurant, and you might be like, oh, well, that doesn't work for me. There's no e-commerce in a restaurant. Wrong. Our friend, Dan Fleischman, owns a acai food bowl company that you can franchise.
Him and Jeff Finster,
those are locations, so you can get it in locations. What he did, because he's smart, is said, dude, everyone loves my product. I can ship it to you now. Boom. Now they just built an e-commerce division. If you have amazing pizza, if you have the best burgers, if you have that, you can ship it, ice pack it, do specialized stuff. Boom. You can get our stuff. You sent me ribs. from a great restaurant in Memphis.
Yep.
Like, that's e-commerce. Are they making triple, quadruple the revenue now that they've opened that opportunity? 100%. I bet.
If you're not doing it, just understand that you are a dinosaur.
100%.
It is not a matter of when you're going to go extinct or if you're going to go extinct. It's just a matter of when, right? It's coming. You have got to move to where the customer, all the attention is moving online, which, kind of takes you to another thing that kind of goes without saying, but any online learning, any online virtual events, any way of communicating in these, like, hell, 8 months ago, hardly any of us even, unless we're, what we do, didn't even know what the hell Zoom is. Now everybody and their brother knows what Zoom is, right? This way of acquiring information. Yeah, seriously, let's Zoom. If you are not adopting and adapting and getting into that kind of online arena, trying to position your product or service into that kind of space, you're already done. If you are not trying to make it easy for people to consume your information that way, then you're kind of missing the boat. I think that, I give you an example. I had somebody that, when this first happened in the pandemic, the learning curve for people on Zoom from a business standpoint, so the businesses trying to conduct Zooms and put on events and put on these whatever, it was steep for some people, steeper for others. And so this perfect little business that I helped these women set up was just go do it for them, right? I mean, nobody knows how to do it.
Right.
Go charge them $1,000 a month. Go professionally host their Zoom account. Get it all set up. Just do all the heavy lifting for them, the stuff that frustrates them. You look up and they have like a $14,000 a month income stream now, just sitting there, just 180 grand a year out of nowhere for figuring out how to grease the gears and make it easy for people to adapt to technology.
Which is another one. I think that service businesses, coaching, consulting, even course creation, different things like that, educating, being of service and education, I think it is growing, but I think it's going to blow up. If we have a client that we helped, he was a programmer, he got laid off, he started teaching people how to do JavaScript, and now he's got $1 million business.
Right.
And he just got an office. He did it at the beginning with nothing. Right now he's got a team, he is able to employ people, he is helping people now, and their company is growing, educating people how that is a good opportunity to either get placement or get a job or learn to do things themselves.
I think one of the things that was pretty scary for anybody that was like in the events business, I think one thing that's been super eye-opening, right? With every, you can always focus on the obstacle or you can always focus on the opportunity. A lot of businesses got sucked down because they were too focused on the obstacles. I can't continue to do what I've always done, therefore I'm done, right? And so rather than, you look at all the businesses that are continuing to thrive, whether it's in restaurants or whatever, they adapted. They figured out, hey, there's an opportunity here. I just got to figure it out. And one of the things that I observed and that I personally experienced was the people that are in the events business, if you'd asked them a year ago, right, oh my God, my lifeblood, our business is we put on these 2,000 and 3,000 person events. We do it several times a year. We make $25 million doing them. These are big things. Nobody's going to want to come and experience my event virtually, which back then they were probably right. But now that this escalated adoption happened, right? It's made it normal, right? You look at freaking Tony Robbins doing a 200,000 person event online, right? You know how much it would have cost him to do 200,000? I mean, he couldn't have even have done it. There's no arena in the world that could seat 200,000 people. So talk about opportunity. He looked at it and said, okay, let's just get the best technology. Let's figure out how to create an amazing experience. And my reach now is 10 times what it'd be at any normal event I could do. And so that is a classic example of don't focus on the obstacle, what you couldn't do before. Focus on what is out in front of you. Because if you do, it might be 10 times bigger than anything you've ever experienced before, right? And I mean, that is a really great example of it. And I see a lot of people do that. I mean, hell, we've experienced it. I mean, in my own world, if you'd ever told me that I would have 500 to 1,000 people every month coming into a channel, it would cost me millions of dollars to acquire those customers and put them in a room. I'm doing it for a fraction of that. And quite frankly, I think the experiences might be even better. Right? Because it's more of it feels more one-to-one than me standing on a stage 150 feet from him.
It's more personal, even though the other one is physically there. This is more personal.
I just think there's so much out there if you will slow down and really, again, kind of take that as a rule of thumb is yeah, clearly there's a ton of obstacles in the market right now, but what are the opportunities?
I think it's a lot to do with mindset, right? Like, I mean, we've started businesses in the pandemic, and they're going great, and they're going to be a big part of our stuff next year because this is a good foundation year for that. While I've talked to other people in our space that are like, dude, it's over, we're dead, we're gone.
Right.
It's like I never thought that way. I was like, okay, what can we do to capitalize? I was also a part of the 2008, negativity, and I shifted full industries. I was in home building and stuff like that, right? And so I totally had to move into something else.
It's interesting that you said it because it's funny. I didn't even realize this had happened. But I was I'm a member of the Room Mastermind, and I was asked to speak at the virtual event they did a few weeks ago. And Ryan Dice, who is one of the founders of the War Room, is standing in front, and he talked about as he was introducing me, a conversation that he overheard between Roland and I. So he just happened to be, this was right before Traffic and Conversion Summit, which they ultimately had to cancel,
Yeah.
right? So he's in San Diego or in Las Vegas, I can't remember where he was, and I called Roland, and the reason I was calling Roland was because I was excited. I was like, oh my God, dude, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. We're going to crush this. This is so amazing. I can't believe this is happening. No, I mean, we need to get funding together. We need to get this. There's going to be so much opportunity out here to go and scoop up businesses and help people, that are up against the fences and keep them going. And so I'm making this call. Well, Roland has me on speaker, and I don't know this, right? And so Ryan's like, I overheard this conversation. He's like, and prior to that conversation, he's like, because we're having to cancel Traffic and Convert, he's like, I'm in the mindset like, oh my God, what are we going to do? What are you going to do? And he's like, I hear your excitement, Kent, and realize that I was just looking at it the wrong way. But
Right.
it is 100%. You will get exactly
It's
what
your
you're.
perception.
It's your perception. You're going to
100%.
get what you're looking for.
Yes.
Right? If you want doom and gloom, there's plenty of it. If you want opportunity, there's plenty of it. What you focus on, you get more of. And so he talked about how he just right then he's like, I switched because if you're this excited and Roland's this excited, well, clearly I need to be excited, right? And they're doing now. I think they've got as much opportunity in front of them as they ever have. But that was a really interesting comment because that's a very experienced guy that I have a ton of respect for. So if it can happen to him, it can happen to anybody, right?
Yeah.
That it's not doom and gloom, baby. There's so much out there. You just got to go looking for it.
So listen, to recap, mindset is what you need first. Good business opportunities are going to come in e-commerce, service businesses, digital businesses, consulting,
Real estate.
freelancing, real estate, and much, much more. But my grass-fed burgers just got here and his vegan tacos just got here, so we got to go. Before we do, share it, like it, subscribe, join the notifications, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. See ya.
Peace.